kind of, I feel like, been around the block in terms of this tier 2 scene, but it feels like they always kind of have a new look roster. I'm familiar with some of these players, others are kind of a new face to me, so I definitely say that Resonate probably a bit more established, a bit more expected to maybe come out on top here because they have the likes of Zabota, they have the likes of Insky or Conti coming into this one, but who knows? Maybe on their map choice, BLAHAJ can pull something off as they are just sticking in with that double duelist, pretty standard comp around the Cypher and the Astra.
You know what's so interesting to me here for Resonate is I know that Strong Legs would be the first to tell me that, you know, Sova's not always necessary. You can have the Sky, it can be equally as impactful. But it still is quite shocking to me to see the Sova not really into the mix here for Resonate. Maybe that's part of my brain, you know, just being so used to it or being so akin to it, saying, hey, I feel like this is a necessity. Definitely isn't always, but it's still going to be interesting to see how it plays out, especially with the use of the Sky. What does that look like? How does it feel? You know, what are the different looks that Kingston is going to be bringing to the table? Because Initiation, despite the changes to, you know, a player, an agent like Breach, for example, Initiation is still key. You still have to find a way in.
Yeah.
And Kingston is going to be the player to do that here for Resonate.
Yeah, but without further ado, we are hopping into things here. It's map 2 down in the lowers, so loser of this matchup is out, and the winner gets a chance into the playoffs, so a lot on the line for both these squads, as it will be BLAHAJ starting off on that attacker side. And I just got to take stock of that previous matchup. Looks like it was 13-7, favoring Resonate off of a strong defensive side in that second half, so we'll see if they're able to do that again. On the defensive side, they get to start out here.
Look at this cheeky little wall from Leak. Here's some of those cuts into the wall there. We'll back away. The higher look up on the wall is now going to be given up. It's still just a little bit of a default. Maybe BLAHAJ feeling some of the effects of that first map that we didn't really get to see. Some of the aggressive looks as we even see the Astra now start to take a walk down memory lane, getting a little bit more of that space down the C side.
And look at this, very sneaky from the Sky, up aggressive. Guiding Light in hand, there's 4 players ready to test him. But if this flash can go big, he could go huge. It's the Frenzy, but no frags to follow. Instead, it's BLAHAJ, double entry. Great way forward onto this A site.
Yeah, they do get a consolation prize here for Resonate, though. That player that was lurking down the C long side, Insky, does actually end up finding a frag through the attacker area, but now of course the spike is being planted. You've got players waiting inside the Astra smoke, waiting for their opportunity to pop out, but they are waiting for their last and final player to join them from that C site. Now got the retake. This does favor BLAHAJ. We've got 2 players down in hell. One, of course, Sova down towards that long side, just going to be there as an insurance policy. They got to push in. They don't really have a lot of time to wait, and you can see the action just unfolding right before your very eyes, just down to the 1v2. And Zabota going to use the turret. Oh no, Venture finally puts the nail in the coffin. Great first round for BLAHAJ.
Yeah, a little too close for comfort there towards the end, but I like how BLAHAJ played that. They had the jet dash across to ensure they were playing that 2v1, didn't allow those frags to get isolated, and for a team that's going to go down on the first map, it's a good way to start things strong. Resonate will actually be forcing into this. I feel like that's going to be something we're saying a lot, Simo, because with these new money changes, it really encourages teams to put that stock into these second rounds, and the Stingers and definitely prove themselves dangerous. But before we do focus in on this force up, just gotta correct myself quickly because we did jump in so quickly. I thought this was the lower match. We're still in the upper bracket here, so there's another opportunity for the loser down below.
Yeah, BLAHAJ, if they do end up getting kind of that 2-0 out of this winner's match, we'll have to see when we cross that path. Kingston on the swing through the doors with the guiding light. We're going to see a lot of that, I think, out of Kingston. He tried that on that first round, out on the swing for the pistol, and now he's trying that here at the doors, constantly repositioning. He's got to get to safety. Does have a player over towards the window side, giving him a little bit of extra firepower, but now BLAHAJ got a little bit of an inside look over towards this B site.
That he does. Ooh, Conti, nice spray away there on to Zil. Sets things on a right course here for Resonate, but damage has been dealt. Regrowth, one player back into a healthy situation. Seems to be a B execute on the cards. They have the Nebulas to make it work, but Conti's still holding close.
Yeah, but that's the player that they lost there over towards the B site. They know that there's potentially still contact over this way. The Roomba is going to make that even more obvious as the push through. Icy's going to be able to at least stall it for the time being. But Kingston, oh baby, Kingston, unfortunate position, gets shot. Probably saw the shoulder or something leak. Will do just that. Blood all over the floors. They now rotate over towards the A site. 2 players remain here for Resonate on this force up that we highlighted, and they're going to be going for a 2-pronged approach on opposite sides.
Yeah, that they will be. This wall about to drop allows Zabota a push up, and he can isolate this duel. Finds Icy. Now that's a gun on the floor, and they have to deal with this flank. It's a two-pronged attack on the retake. However, it seems like they're trying to get aggressive. Insky shuts down. Insky has a double, and Resonate somehow off that force buy will pull things back to even odds here.
That was crazy. I mean, we saw, of course, with the X-ray, there was a player through the smoke, and of course, Insky was like, "Okay, I'm gonna focus up here." And the crossfire was great. Zabota coming in from the sewer side finds that pick, and it really created a little bit of discomfort for BLAHAJ. Where are these players coming from? Is it the focus through sewers? Really, the two-pronged approach ended up being so beneficial to them, and now we see the economy really in a little bit of an awkward spot, particularly for BLAHAJ. They bought on that second round like they should, are now stuck with sheriffs.
Yeah, it's a bit of an unfortunate turn, but regardless, definitely a good look out of Resonate. They'll be playing the bonus here with those SMGs across the board. And for BLAHAJ, maybe it's just looking to try and get something quick in here. Spike plant definitely going to help that economy, but it's not helping. When Kingston sprays away at least one, the trade is there, but it's good information for the side of Resonate.
That it is. Another orb captured here for Venture. Not too far off that Hunter's Fury. Could play a factor in the rounds to come. He's gotten there quite quickly. I think it was that first round that he got a couple of picks, maybe 2-3 picks, something along those lines. They'll reset. They don't really want to deal with that C site. They just wanted that orb. Now look over towards A. We have to talk about this wall from League. Constantly repositioned, constantly being a nuisance. And I'm liking this kind of adaptation. We don't normally see Sages play this so far up close and use the wall exactly like this. Force players to kind of fight for it, fight over it. And it puts Leak in a great position because he can just wait it out on the opposite side.
That he can. Still, there's two players across from Zill, a bit isolated in this, but look at the lurk from Lear. He's found one. Zabota next up to the plate will find the trade back, but this gets awkward because Zill's just picked off the Sage. Now A-site down to just one defender.
Yeah, gonna be a little bit of a trickier situation. Conti already here waiting for the contact. You hear that updraft up and over. Zill just providing that overarching look. The drop down's gonna be good. Zill was ready for it, but down to 34 HP is not gonna be very beneficial. 13 seconds left on the clock. Tailwind to distract Zabota. Where could the jet be? That's the biggest factor. Zabota now has a little bit of a better visual, can drop down from the heaven side. They so choose the drop. It was so beautiful up onto the box. That's a 3K on the round for Zabota. Very well done, but it was a very costly round for Resonate.
Yeah, it was, but remember, they didn't really ever have a whole ton of stock into that one. It was just a lighter weaponry, so you'll see the eco still looking okay. You love to see in the 1v1s players not being afraid to just take the heads-up play, go for the jump, go for the dive, and get something done. As we expect with the new patch, the early days economy stays weird. No one's yet to kind of concede these force by wars, as it's a good investment in from BLAHAJ and Resonate on a yard sale buy of weaponry. For BLAHAJ thus far, it feels like some of these attacking rounds have just been a tad bit fractured, because there's been some aggression out of Resonate, normally resulting in even trades. No one really able to pull off a completely clean round just yet, but Venture, like you mentioned earlier, he's been farming this orb pretty consistently off that nebula smoke, so we'll have the Hunter's Fury up to bat in this one. That's a perfect counter because Resonate have their lockdown available.
I'll have to see what factor that plays into the rest of the round, because BLAHAJ, despite that orb, have quite consistently played this little default, you know, just gathering the information from the attacker area and then kind of based on that deciding where they want to go. Seeing that Sage wall over towards the garage doors gives them a little bit of a better insight. Okay, maybe this A side will be a little bit uncontested. We haven't seen Kingston on this side in a little bit. There's a lot of tells to us, at least for the early rounds, to say, hey, maybe this A side's going to be a good buy.
Maybe they do have the site under control. You see Zabota postured ready with that lockdown, and good catch there. There's a molly. This is a preset play onto the retake, but they will destroy it. Is that Hunter's Fury going to come out to nullify? Yes, it will, but the retake still being attempted here out of Resonate.
Yeah, it's a little bit unfortunate, but now the flank on the opposite side, Insky gets punished, but there's still going to be the defenders pushing into the site itself. A flurry of frags get traded, but the beneficial portion does go to BLAHAJ. Now the Empress pop. Kingston finds two. Lear just playing off to the side towards the sewers. There's a tag. It's going to put a little bit of pressure onto Kingston now. Guiding light providing a little bit of guiding angle. over towards that opposite sewer side, but Lear just in a great position. You know, even if the Sova falls there, Lear was ready for a trade or something. That puts Resonate on finally that broken buy that we were anticipating was coming soon. Yeah. Well, here it is. Never mind. Zabota just he wants it all to himself.
Always force Sumi. You can never concede these rounds. But it was a good one to pull back out of BLAHAJ. I like the way they played that retake around the owl drone, because the first point of utility up to bat, owl drone, you get a tag onto the diffuser, which kind of stops any doubt in your mind if they're faking it or if they're holding it. Then there was a dart. There was just so much to contend with. So well played in that 2v1 to BLAHAJ. But Resonate, they're always keeping these rounds close, so the BLAHAJ economy still kind of on the verge of getting reset here if Resonate can at least get some damage in this Thrifty round. It's Kingston with the bird forward, but he won't find anything. However, look at this flank. Insky definitely gets something done despite that trip. What?
Zabota, Insky, oh, Insky, one more, just down a venture. This is going haywire for BLAHAJ. They at least have the spike for the time being. Phantom in hand, Vandal as an option on the floor. The Resonate, they're working together. There's the turret, the swing, the spray. It would have been magical for Venture, but Leaks got the frag. Wow,
dude, I was just chilling out for a second there, like, oh, all right, it's the Sheriff on the flank. Maybe he can get a kill or two here, but absolutely huge plays out of Zabota and Insky in combination there, and it's another flip-flop. The economy now into the favor of Resonate, and well, this A lobby fight just isn't being won by BLAHAJ, and I think part of that is that they haven't really put too much pressure onto these flanks. They have the reliance on those Cypher triplers, but there's never an actual person to hunker down to deny that flank. I think it's been 2 rounds now where Resonate has been able to get in those backlines and really shut down a play. So BLAHAJ definitely looking to adapt, and going back to the default seems to be the decision.
That Bulldog managed to tag a couple of players, maybe even the Phantom as well, but still they got tagged on the opposite side. Does look like the regrowth is going to put Insky at least back up. Okay, on the opposite side, Icy getting a little bit more active over towards the annoyance of the Sage. Still Zabota's here, has the Phantom in tow. Headshot will secure the fate onto one for now. Action towards the opposite side as we see Lear finding a lot of space, and that Vandal's gonna be a problem. Still, one more dismiss or devour was available, but this round is going as it should. 2 players now remain for BLAHAJ as they run over towards the seaside to get the spike plan.
Yeah, good round thus far out of Resonate. They've only lost 2 players, but want to keep this as clean as could be. There's also available to work back in, and Zill has recovered a rifle. Now this gets dangerous, but you notice that they're greeting for a kill here. They know they're down in arms, so need to pull something sneaky off.
Okay, at least one player does get caught, and Zill will make that Vandal work in his favor. That's only one player that does end up falling. The consolation prize could have been a little bit bigger. They kind of lined up there for a moment. Regardless, Resonate, they'll secure another round. I'll be looking and feeling good while doing it. Now, moving into the next one, we'll see what the economy looks like. It's gonna take a while to get used to this. Mimi, yeah. I'm not gonna lie to you. You know, before I feel like you could accurately predict, like, oh, okay, this is a soft buy, this is the force up, you know, this is that. Now you just have no idea. It's so difficult to figure out what teams are gonna buy. Maybe we'll see some trends over VCT, but this does look like a full buy on both sides.
Is this the first round where we've seen like 10 rifles across the board in the server? I think
Maybe.
It honestly might be 7 rounds in, so everyone's just been forcing. This is the chance for one of these teams to stabilize economically, and for BLAHAJ, I like the look on the default that round. It worked pretty well, right? They were getting the damage in. Resonate has been getting a tad bit aggressive, as we see here again, so BLAHAJ realizing they can punish that, they're falling back to the slow play. Zill does hold Conti, considering the peek in towards sewers.
Ooh, he had the angle too, but maybe a little bit late, maybe calming to his teammate, just like the moment distracted. Conti's gonna be able to re-peek, and he has the showstopper available as well. Oh no, he's gonna need another blast back, but things are getting a little too hairy. Has to get out of there. That's an unfortunate usage of the showstopper. 2 kills do get traded for both sides, and now they're just gonna hightail it over to C. No way am I dealing with that amount of firepower over towards A.
Oh, timing to get the better of the killjoy. The alarm bot triggered, and Icy shut down. Barrage still under the command of Resonate that allows the lockdown in play, but there should be aggression out of BLAHAJ. They need to deny this ult.
Yeah, but they can still play
No, they can hide
backside. Yeah,
backside.
they can
Yeah.
hide backside for sure, and that's exactly what they're going to be doing. Of course, there's a player that's running. Oh, Venture finds Conti in the process. Kingston on the peak does eventually find the Sova just down a Zill in the 1v2. Not going to be enough against NSG. A great round for Resonate off the back of that lockdown. Forced Venture into a tough position. And that puts Resonate up to 5.
Yeah, and I think there's a case to be made there that maybe you save the lockdown to do the one in the nice little corner that's going to deny more a site. But I like that he just did it reactionary, like instantly plopping that down. That applies so much pressure immediately because they have to make that split-second decision. Do we commit to the spike plant and play this post plant when we're kind of cordoned into angles, or do we stop the plant and try and go aggressive and shut this down? They decided to commit to it. They were cordoned into that one little corner in the flank. Just well timed out of Resonate. This squad looking very coordinated early on. Is this time BLAHAJ actually being pretty respectful with the buy? It's just the Sheriff's up to play. Maybe a hero rifle being considered onto Lear? Oh, he's committing to it. Interesting.
Ooh, well, high risk, high reward, right? We've seen Lear have some pretty comfortable moments.
Yeah.
Lurking through the garage primarily. That's actually where we find him the most hot-handed, but he's not heading that way this round. It might be the fast hit onto B, but the spike's still over towards the A lobby, so they really might just be fishing for picks here, especially with that hero rifle, but that Sage is nowhere near that wall.
Oh, timing bad for Conti. Icy has a nice entry, but that gun gonna be hard to recover. There's a lot of commitment, and now another player known to be on this B site. BLAHAJ actually not gaining too much space off that frag.
Oh,
They're losing some. There's a flank.
Oh, they have to be careful. Shots are starting to come through, and this is starting to get a little bit expensive. The flank has been given away. Leak, no, caught with the knife out. This is going horribly for Resonate. Now Lear in an advanced position. You see Kingston running with his knife as well. All down to one final player. Cosmic Divide to try to provide a little bit of additional space. They've already infiltrated the defensive spawns. They're sitting real pretty. They've even planted it for the defender side. This is a great round for BLAHAJ to come back from.
Good luck thus far. NSG trying to get something done here. He should have a couple stars left in the back pocket to maybe work something off of, but he's trying to do this dry, not giving away the game just yet, and no one is holding for him. But like you mentioned, spike planted possibly in the worst position for this clutch to be doable. There's even spam and opportunity from Lear.
NSG doesn't have a lot of options. Might be looking for frags here. Knows that potentially this spike is going to be a little bit difficult to defuse. Now the fight starts to come through, making it costly, but only ends up one. Well, you know, you'll take what you can get. That's for sure. Lear almost not surviving that explosion. That was a tough round for Resonate to lose. Just thinking about the circumstance of those frags coming through off the back of the first one for Icy. Very well done for BLAHAJ to make it costly.
Yeah, it was a really nice round, and it was all off of that hero rifle for Lear. They started things off with the Icy frag that you mentioned, and Lear got the entry in towards A, and they kind of get that snowball effect going. You drop a gun in a recoverable position, now that hero rifle, it's up to 2. That train in the right direction. Now, Resonate actually rebuying into this. I saw it off out and then light armor across a couple other people, so it's another weird one, but Kingston, maybe he can get something done, and yeah, he will. Quick shot there onto Icy.
That's going to delay the potential A hit that's coming in. Kingston's even going to re-peek the angle down along the opposite way. So they have a pretty good coverage of this A site, and that really means that this stack, these 4 players over towards C and B spread out, are going to be very effective. Except if the analysts get, caught by surprise. The spike does look like it's not heading over towards the A site, which it has quite consistently. BLAHAJ just fishing for intel for now, and it's scary. They're a little bit concerned about where they might need to end up. There's constant utility delaying them everywhere they go. You see the drone now over towards A as well. They're just trying to get whatever they can.
And there's actually a good stack in towards garage here. 2 players. Hunter Sphere is used. Connects with tag, but Zabota's going aggro. Finds Zill. Gun on the floor in a second. Zabota going crazy with the Sheriff. Insky another. It puts Venture in a clutch. It was 1v5, but he's cut it down to 3. Maybe this is still doable.
19 HP. I think
never mind.
Maybe not. Oh, eco res. Okay. There's what, 3 rounds left in this half. You might as well plop it down. We'll see if another res can come through. Leak 1-7-1. Definitely not going to be the #1 ult user this game, at least for this first half. But at least bringing in that eco, Zabota having a great game. That's actually a pretty good decision, all things considered, now that I think about it. And see how many more rounds BLAHAJ can put up, because so far Resonate's in control.
Yeah, I like Kingston on the op right now. He got that great little entry in the previous round, and he's repositioned. Now the op is down towards C. It's holding for this Astra to push in towards Cubby, so they have that advanced positioning on C. This allows a lot of freedom for Kingston to play where he likes, but look at this, Emo. It's another retake setup. You see that pre-play swarm grenade. That's what they did in a previous round as well. Didn't work out, but this time, no Hunter's Fury, so it'd be successful if A-side is the decision.
Yeah, tricky. Not playing for the C orb. Resonate's probably like, what are they up to? Has to be A at this point, considering nothing has been shown over towards C. You even have Insky in a pretty aggressive position, but this is going to develop into a flank later on into the round once the A retake comes in. We talked about that lockdown. No tools really available for BLAHAJ other than Venture here. Looks like they're all getting ready for this retake. You'll see now Resonate slowly start to bring people back. Insky not going for the flank. Okay, this could get interesting.
And they're waiting for people to fully commit, and look, the swarm grenade is read into, so that's not an opportunity, but Alt's still here. They're waiting for the team to pile up for BLAHAJ. Again, it's that decision. Do we commit? Do we concede the site, or do we commit to this fight? And thus far, it doesn't look like the fight's coming.
Ooh, lockdown has been destroyed in the action. Of course, now ready to go. Venture finds one first initial pick, and League just trying to back away with the rest of his team. The whole team will decide to back away. The lockdown was their golden ticket, and Willy Wonka says, no, not today. Not this chocolate bar won't let you into the factory. Venture finds another pick here with Conti. This was a great round from BLAHAJ. All they needed was a couple of shock darts up to no good, and they win the whole round. What? On the outside, Resonate says, no, we're going to make it a little bit more costly. Still, picks are flying left and right. What a round from BLAHAJ.
Yeah, shock darts there to destroy the ult was absolutely massive. This is the second time that they've tried and failed this very same lockdown play. I'm wondering if they are just seeing those swarm grenades or if they've been able to watch Resonate previously and know this is something they do. But regardless, it's well read into, well shut down, gives a free round over to BLAHAJ. And well, they did save on to some of this weaponry, so they'll have another pretty respectable buy into this one. I mean, even if Resonate loses out here, pulls 6-6, it's already looking pretty respectable. Defensive side Haven, this team generally doing pretty well on their attack, so I have a feeling they're sitting quite pretty, but they do have the Seekers in this one to try and build up that lead.
Knives are out. Zabota on the opposite side. Knives don't connect, but Lear will be able to seal the deal. Somehow Zill just indestructible. The body bag for Lear as they push on in. Roomba gonna get a little bit more information. Lear just on a spree. But Leak able to find a couple of consolation prizes on his way out down to the 2v3. Seekers have been popped to try to get the information on where those players are located, leaning harder over towards the outskirts of the C site. So they can at least be a little more comfortable to enter in without any issues. An interesting wall ready to go. They do not really have an angle, and I like how this is placed. This is going to give them time. The Hunter's Fury, it gets the one tag. It might even be able to find the big Venture. Oh my goodness. Kingston down to 70. Now the swings, the push from Garage. This is so close that they just need to stall for time. And a beautiful shock dart from Venture. An amazing round goes to BLAHAJ.
Oh, the creativity was there. That wall was so cool. If they didn't have the Hunter's Fury, they probably would have won off of it. But it's a heads-up play from Icy, and it's the shock darts from Venture to shut down the sneaky ninja defuse. BLAHAJ, that's just such a good look for them, because it takes good communication there to realize, okay, we're not going to be able to break this wall. We need that lurk to expedite. We need those shock darts to come in. So BLAHAJ definitely starting to build up here. It's now been 2 rounds in a row, and with the buy looking a bit sketchy out of Resonate and no ults available for this defensive squad, it's another opportunity for BLAHAJ to build back into this one.
Wow. That was what I'm hoping the future of Valorant looks like. That utility usage, love to see it. A battle of utility. That was really good to see. Now, last round of regulation here. Sprays through the box here in the garage. The Owl Drone going to try to spot out where both players are. Uh-oh. There's a family inside. Knock, knock. Open up. Lear ready for the push. The spray finally finds them. Very well done from Venture. Presence of mind to get that recon bolt in, and Cosmic Divide has been popped. It is BLAHAJ's. They're trying to not let the lurkers out to play. Zabota finds one. Zill on the opposite side, still continuing that fragging power as it will pick up the spike. Conti now just trying to find some additional firepower. Catches Zill on the retreat through the doors. Now Venture as well will be taken down. This is a crazy 2v2 still. Empress pop. Kingston gets backstabbed. More is what we hear, but shots are what we'll see. Conti with 3. Showstopper available. And it's the round from BLAHAJ to tie us up.
Oh, Lear with the clutch to close things out. His Reyna play has been exemplary throughout the half, so who else but him to find the clutch to pull things to a 6-6 scoreline. And now this makes things so competitive on a map that can be so even. Any squad could be taking this one home. And as we take a look back at how some of these rounds went, it felt like not just the game, but every single one of these rounds was coming down to the wire. It was 1v1s, 1v2s, and I mean, that's just what you love to see.
I think for this particular half, player that brought it all the way back had to have been Venture. It was the great presence of mind play, the shock darts to cancel out those lockdowns against Resonate's top performing players, Zabota. Not to mention those Hunter's Fury plays. It was a phenomenal treat to watch. And in that last round, sending a recon bolt into the garage itself was a great presence of mind play to at least get the numbers advantage. But maybe moving on to the second half, and it's already a quick attack for Resonate onto B.
I like this. They're gonna have the spike down, and they're completing heavily into the post plant, so they can make something work here. But look at the flank coming out. Zill trying to fight his way forward, but unaware of the Sky in close. It's Kingston, but Zill shuts down, has the dash forward. They need to fight their way out of this, but look at Venture. He gets one, trades back in. It's Zill trying to make something work. Icy, tap on the spike, forces the swing, but he knows that he is off. The flank coming through. It needs to quicken the pace. Is now all onto one man. The Astra alone, and Zabota has him routed. Insky on the other side. And what quick as could be, no time to think, is Resonate. Pull that pistol.
That was like a reverse old Gen G. Like at the beginning of Haven, Gen G would funnel into B and then back all the way back out to window. It was like this rush strat that worked so phenomenally well. That was like the opposite. Resonate just sat in the courtyard fighting off like 50 angles all at once, and then they wrapped around the wraparound and the flank on the flank. It was a very interesting round. BLAHAJ was just trying to find their way in from the long side and from the site itself, but round goes into the pocket of Resonate. The force up won't be countered here by BLAHAJ, but they can still make it worth their while. We've seen some of these thrifty rounds go interestingly. And once again, it's going to be the B site, just a standard hit. Lear's on the opposite side, laying in wait with the Sheriff. Flashed for now. Not going to be connected with by the second flash. The shock darts are flying. They are trying to find their mark. Lear finds one. Dismiss forward just to get a little bit more intel. But now 4v5. Resonate down a member. As everyone from the defense is here going to be pushing in. They're just going to rush in together. This is what Spectres are made for, but it's not going to last very long. It's all down to 2 players, but these are the post-plant gods. Killjoy and Astra. One player gets cooked alive. Recon bolts to gather more information. They don't have a lot of time, but Lear's a god himself. Now, the smoke. This is going to be it. This is good enough. The spray. It won't. BLAHAJ with a great thrifty round.
Look at BLAHAJ, they're just the force by warriors, constantly investing into these rounds that they shouldn't be able to pull off and completing the upset. It's a thrifty to close out. And I love how quick they are on the retake, because they know the power of the post plant that Resonate has in their hands. There's the Astra utility, there's the KJ utility, but instead of having to worry about all that, they just start the push immediately. They force those mollies to be invested just a few seconds after the spike is planted, and by buying that time early on, it just came down to the fights, and they were able to win those out off sheer numbers. So it's a good look for Resonate as BLAHAJ will have the superior arms here. I'm interested to see how Icy's going to be playing this one. It's the attempt at the aggressive cam, but that is canceled out. Resonate, maybe just looking to farm this resurrection up soon.
They can still brute force their way in if they can get a really strong overwhelm. Lear might not be able to hold on for now. Up towards Plat, and they'll just decimate them. Very well done. To be honest, could have gone either way, but still does end up falling onto the shoulders of last and final player here for Resonate. Zabota just trying to find a player on the way out at the bare minimum, but a 4K from Icy. Wow, that was a pretty quick decimation from BLAHAJ.
Yeah, nice and speedy. out of them to shut down that play. But now this is where the real meat of the half gets to come underway, because it's a pretty respectable buy out of both sides. And for Resonate, I'm wondering how they're gonna be able to play this one forward. Thus far, it's been kind of a focus on this mid control, fighting it pretty heavily, which I do like. But as there is that 3-man A lane from BLAHAJ, but I'm not sure if they've discovered that just yet. This consistent mid fight means that it can be starved of information in some of these rounds, but they have leaned back more to that default, trying to deny this aggression. But look at the ults that are coming onto the table. Hunter's Fury up off the orbs. It's Kingston on the execution.
Oh, they're just still fighting for it. Lear is down. A crucial piece of the pie. Kingston takes another slice. Thank you very much. I'll take Cherry. Finds the spike here planted as well. Just down to 3 players. And it's the 3 A-leaning players as well from BLAHAJ. That might give them a little bit of information off of that. Particularly because Zabota is kind of unfortunately tasked with that job. Gets the early look onto one player, unfortunately, with the barrel out around the corner. But Zabota, unaware that Zill is still on the wrap around here. The long con, the long flank, the wall there. The turret's gonna help out! Oh my goodness, the 6th player in the lobby. Venture, last player standing, caught really in a little bit of a tougher spot, just being sprayed on all sides. A flawless for Resonate. You couldn't ask for anything better than that.
No, you really cannot. The executes have been pretty clean, and part of the help in that is that they have been kind of conditioning with that top C smoke. It's kind of a default when you are playing that Astra. Plop that down, allows you to farm the orb, and as soon as you want to go C, they've been lulled into that false sense of security. So sometimes the simple things, the consistent things can work out quite nicely. For BLAHAJ this round, they do still have the Hunter's Fury in the bank to counter out Resonate's lockdown. Thus far, I don't think we've seen a single round where that lockdown has found too much impact out of Zabota. So we'll have to see if that can be a change-up, as this time it's a pretty heavy fight in towards A main. This is a new look from Resonate, and it's a quick one at that.
Yeah, it's moving fast. We have Lear here, who has rotated off of that comfortable seaside position. The A-leading players are spread out over the course of the C side, but still that lockdown in a pretty good position to push the defenders out. Venture trying to get a little bit of an angle, at least maybe do a little bit of damage, but that shock dart won't find its mark onto anyone. Hunter's Fury is still available. This is a little bit of an awkward angle to use it from, but with that spike ticking, they don't really have a lot of time to make these small decisions. A great nano swarm, and it's actually going to help take out the owl drone there. Zill looking for an angle here with the operator. Empress has been popped, looking for the push in. They don't have a lot of time to work with, so they need to get active. Kingston finds the pick onto Zill. We do hear the Seekers has been popped, and they're just letting them all in like a firing squad. They see the Seekers going towards the players, and they'll find them all. Great angles, 1 graffiti, 1 hell, and 1 fragging from the box. Very well done from Resonate.
Yeah, it was just that committed retake play out of BLAHAJ, but I don't think they were ever able to find the impact they were looking for, and that was because Resonate stayed aggressive. They had that crossfire established between Hell and between Graffiti, the grab wells as well. Supportive out of Vinsky were fantastic. This is a guy who maybe he's not always at the top of the scoreboard, but he does so much for the squad with that supportive utility, and well, the retake plan, I liked it. Hold on to that Hunter's Fury, try and use something a little bit later, but it's not going to work out for them. Now it sets Resonate into this advantage, 9-8 up. Is there again maybe considering something towards that?
Well, they've begun to commit a lot of resources to it as well. Venture does get the end of that Trailblazer. Now going to be peeking in towards the sewer side. Gets a look at that room. We're going to re-peek here. Unfortunate that Conti was laying in wait, but you've got both duelists here, and these are some of the most deadliest players in the lobby currently. Lear in particular ready for the swing, gets taken down. A little bit unfortunate. Zill now next on the chopping block, and this should be the round for Resonate. Just slowly starting to fall away here for BLAHAJ. Plant going in, Insky in an aggressive position behind the wall. I like this, especially if we get to see this in a gun round. BLAHAJ with 2 players standing, they're just looking to do some damage.
Yeah, seems to be the main consideration here, but Conti has a nice shutdown, and Icy, he might be able to actually reflank Insky up towards Heaven, but unlikely to do too much more than damage. So now we look at a situation where Resonate will have that 10-8 advantage. And I imagine now they'll want to change up how they're playing this A site. It's been 2 rounds in a row. They haven't been able to hold on to it, and the retakes have failed. So maybe it's committing Icy there on the Cypher over, or maybe it's aggression. Because I've noticed that Resonate, they're very much in favor of kind of this heavy A lobby fight. But I don't think we've seen the Astra utility come out of the Astra on the side of BLAHAJ to try and fight up against that. So who knows? We'll try and look for something to change the course of this one. But Resonate, I mean, they're only 3 away from closing out 2-0, so BLAHAJ, they've got to kind of start focusing in here.
Listen, I know what you're doing. Eventually we got to say the name. Okay, we have no choice.
I've been avoiding it. I've been avoiding it.
I think it's backwards. Maybe it's skirt. Skirt.
I have to look at it. We need to pull the scoreboard back up because I have no idea what it is. All right. Wait, let's figure it out. SKEART. I have no idea what that says, but still, nearly the collateral. No, he gets a tag onto Conti as well. BLAHAJ, good look here to start things off.
Definitely Cosmic Divide to say, okay, slow things down. We don't really want to fight at the moment. We want to try to get a little bit of a better advantage. Showstopper goes in, and that really hasn't quite connected throughout the entirety of this match. Hunter's Fury to follow suit. Lear there laying in wait. Here comes the skirt, and there comes the vroom as Kingston brings in the boom. Still last player standing, 1v3. Shots are good as Zill just dunks right on him. That's gonna be BLAHAJ now trailing by 1.
Yeah, the mid-aggression was perfect there out of BLAHAJ. They have that opening operator shot with Zill to set them in the right direction, and then there was a peek that I think came from around Garage to get the secondary one there, and in those 3v5s, all it took for BLAHAJ to do was group up, play that retake together, no harm, no foul. And I think you're right. I think it's Skart or Skirt. I had to I have my
it's
pen and paper out, so I had to write it down to try and figure out what it is. But whatever his name is, he'll have to keep things up for his squad, as it's only a gap of 1 between BLAHAJ and Resonate here.
It's definitely not Trakes. Okay, we can at least agree that it's.
I think we can agree on that.
Yeah, it's not Trakes. Okay, we can at least leave it there. We'll leave it there. Maybe chat knows better. They seem to always know better, or at least they think they do. You see a standard B hit here. Orbs going down. Icy can't really repeat the angle. I mean, he can. It's just a little bit riskier. Look at this post plant meta. They're just swarming it with utility. Those nano swarms coming in. Great swing. It does get quickly traded, though. That's one member of the post plant meta now out of commission. It's just down to the Killjoy, and that utility can be dealt with. You're actually seeing some of that being dealt with currently by Venture, sending in some of those shock darts down low. Will they be too slow? Now the Cosmic Divide comes through. They're sending in more utility with the paint shells, but Resonate is locked out. This means that they need to play inside. They need to push in. The spike is being diffused. They can't quite hear it. It's a firing squad on the opposite side, but Conti's still alive. Now Zill on the hunt, down to 1 player. Spike still ticking. Zill now on the defusal. Here's Zabota just trying to find a better angle. Has the classic in hand. It's the jumping classic. First shot won't connect. The second will, and Resonate 2 points away from closing out the series.
Oh, it's a bloody battle, but Resonate are able to come out on top, and I mean, they almost let that one slip away from them. I gotta question a little bit why Insky was the planter there, because he can be so crucial in that post plant, right? Like a Gravwell could have made this retake so much easier. It likely wouldn't have had to come down to just Zabota in the clutch, but regardless, they will circumvent that Cosmic Divide and get it done. But off of the little bit of rounds that BLAHAJ was able to take, they still have another buy into this round, but it's a pretty hefty force. They lose here, and their money's going to be, well, pretty garbage up against match point. This is getting down to the wire, as it seems to be just another 5-man hit, this time towards C.
All the spray is still there. You see it. Trying to do some damage as they're not trying to let them in. Skirt, he won't find the pick. Icy, he won't find the pick. Venture, he'll have a chance. He won't find the pick. Just down to 2 players here, Lear and Zill. They're going in on like an Oreo, sandwiching in Resonate. But they're not really gonna have the chance to do that slow orb. Nano Swarm, Lear's gonna have a better chance pushing in. Leak waiting on the opposite side of this wall, who's been playing with these walls quite interestingly. Lear's down, so now you're all alone. It's a flawless Resonate, and they sit at match point. Not only that, but series point. BLAHAJ, what do you have for 3 rounds in a row off this eco?
It's going to take something big. And not only that, it takes those 3 rounds to push it into overtime, winning in overtime, and then taking a third map. It's pretty hard to describe how tough of a comeback this will take. Resonate, well, they sped things up. They've just been committing to these just 5-man takes in the last 2 rounds. They've been incredibly successful. They're reattempting in towards the A site here. Now the 2 players who have to get something done, Sova and it will be Zill in towards short. They hear the dog, maybe start to fall back just a little bit, but Zabota, he's always kind of the contingency plan here because he's always on alert, can call the team to re-rotate if necessary. Still pushing, still hounding down 2 defenders on this site.
Oh, Zill just trying to survive. You even saw the contact play from Venture. Now he's about to be backstabbed. Kingston has that on lock. Conti with an angle for the player trying to deal with Kingston. The communication is working out so flawlessly. Down to 2 players. Skirt alongside trusty old Icy. Will the ice be in the veins this time? Judge in hand. Penguin dangling by a rope on the side of the weapon. They might need more than a bungee cord to save themselves from this potential series ending. They still have a chance though, BLAHAJ, if they do get knocked down. But a 2v5 is going to be a challenge. They know Icy's up towards heaven. 1 player down low has to deal with the wall. Jumping in, Old Faithful just looking for something. Now as they come in, guns blazing, a solid series and a solid map coming up from Resonate. They will move on to the playoffs. BLAHAJ will have to fight for their life in the lower bracket.